Welcome to ATT Live, a little special Saturday edition. Well, it's not. People are like, well, people in the chat are like, well, Saturday? Is this crazy? Can I believe my? Yeah. Well, because technically,
it's daylight savings time.
It's daylight savings.
We had to change it.
Yeah, you forgot. Everyone knows you set everything back 12 hours or 24 hours. No, but we have a special guest today, our German-Swiss correspondent, Jaeger, joining us today. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, guys. So nice to be with you.
Woo! So, yeah, if you listen, you want on the show like Jaeger, you jump on the old Patreon there and support the show, support the boys, put your name on the list, get on the show. That easy. Come shoot the shit. First off, it's a shame that Andrew's not here because you have the best German accent. I actually haven't talked to a lot of people with German accents other than Andrew, who does an absolute mockery now that I've heard you talk.
He wouldn't stand out.
Yeah, he'd be riding the short bus in Germany.
We don't have those.
So in conspiracy news this week, I wanted to talk about this one. Were you guys following it all? The Ryan Garcia stuff on blowing up on Twitter and X and stuff. I thought
is that the one that you guys posted somewhere? So, is that in our Discord?
Yeah, he's a boxer, a younger boxer slash influencer. I think he's a bit of an influencer, but 100% a boxer. Goes by like King Ryan. A week ago, he just posts on his X. There's like a video of him, and it's just like all the captions are all like just random, and it's like, oh my God, 666 God, we got him, he's gone, boys. And the video is just like someone being like, oh my God, I don't know who that is, and like kind of running through the house. For a second, I was like, holy shit. I messaged Andrew, I was like, I think Ryan Garcia's dead. I think he just got murdered. And first off, look at that Stein. Hold on. We got to pause to everyone.
Did you see him open? Did you see him open the bottle?
Yeah. I kind of heard something. I was like, what is that? And then I see that.
Wait a sec. I got another. We are not in kindergarten here, right?
Yeah. See?
Beautiful.
See, people think that swords are just weapons, that they're just designed for killing, but they are a utility.
Yeah.
Duh.
Everyone knows you open the bottle.
Your true weapon masters will know that.
Yeah. Near the hilt is for opening bottles, and near the tip is for stabbing your enemies.
Yeah.
Near the hilt is not that sharp.
It's basically a sword. It's like a Swiss Army knife, but it's just one piece. Like, it's much simpler, much more. Much more elegant.
Yeah, there we go. We got so Ryan Garcia posted this on his Twitter. I was like, okay, well, this guy's dead. I think he's dead. Message Andrew, and he's kind of weird. Had a weird press conference. He's fighting on April 20th. Kind of weird stuff. So then all of a sudden he posts this video on it kind of hits the the TMZs and everything. He's just like, yeah, I got locked out of all my phones, my banks. I'm all good. Nothing's wrong with me. And then so people are like, oh, okay, all right, weird. Everyone thought you were having a mental breakdown. And then instantly after that, he's on X, commenting to people. And people are like, I thought you didn't have access to your phone. He's like, got a new one. And he's like, when I was 2 years old, I was raped at Boho Grove. And I was like, he's like, the Illuminati, the elites tied me up. They made me watch pedo videos, they're coming, I know all their secrets. I have video proof of it. Just absolutely coming unhinged on X. So obviously,
what the hell, man? I told him to shut up.
Yeah. Well, Alex Jones jumped in, right? He's like, oh, that's what they're doing at the Grove. Post some old videos of.
Has Alex Jones been posting stuff since he's been back?
Oh yeah, man. He's back fully. He's back fully.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'm a big follower.
Yeah.
I love his work. So then Alex Jones pipes in. He posts some old videos of Boho Grove. Ryan Garcia jumps on a live with Andrew Tate and just starts spouting off about how he was when he was he was raped when he was a kid at Boho Grove, and then they tied him up at Boho Grove when he was younger and made him like watch all these like tortured and murder videos, and like the Illuminati is real and they're all coming after him, and like he doesn't care anymore because he's got God on his side. Absolutely, it was like I was, dude, at the edge of my seat. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. It's and it's hard to. I'm like, okay, well, you know, he's like, I have videos and I have pictures, and I'm not scared to release them. I was like, release them. So obviously,
you already said that you have them. So like, why? Like, if you don't release them, then you risk the chance of you just being, you know. If it is real.
His like opponent on April 20th, Devin Haney, is like gets interviewed, and they're like, "Oh, have you seen this guy?" Because now people are like, something's wrong. He's having some sort of mental breakdown. He probably can't. He's like, this is a big fight, April 20th. And
this reminds me of that Key and Peele sketch where the guy's like, I have God on my side. He's like, what are you guys gonna make me fight a crazy person? Like, I did not sign up for this. It's like, you know, he's just like, I have God on my side. I will eliminate everyone who stands in my way. The holy power resides within me. He's like, I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay. I don't want to fight this guy. He's crazy.
Isn't there a bloody Key and Peele sketch about this exact scenario?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm mentioning right now. It's like that. I was like, that's the exact same thing. Holy shit. Life imitates art, right?
Devin Haney gets in. He's like, yeah. He's like, this guy's fine. He's just like trying to drum up like interest in the fight. He's like, it's the weirdest like promotion of a fight I've ever seen.
It is a weird push.
So he goes like, it's like, it must have been a 4 or 5 day bender of just like posting just insanity. Go to his Twitter. It's still all up.
Unhinged conspiracy
stuff. And then all of a sudden he's just like, yeah, I'm done talking about everything. I will only talk about boxing. That's it. Nothing else.
Okay.
And then people are like, he was silenced. He was silenced. They got him. They got to him.
All this crazy stuff and then no questions.
It's like, you know, the thing is like a lot of these, you know, how many times have you been like, we got the evidence. I got the evidence. And it's like, send it. Like who, like send it to the authorities, show the public, release it. If you have the evidence, expose this stuff. I don't know why you're like,
just gonna sit on it. Like,
it was absolutely spectacular.
Some weird meltdown.
Jaeger, we had asked you before show, but where you're not actually in Germany.
That's right. Yes, I fled the country 6 years ago. Sounds more dramatic than saying I migrated.
Yeah, I like that better. You should say for undisclosed reasons, I had to escape the country.
Yes. I turned my back on the home country.
Yeah,
and chasing tail. So I was with a woman from Switzerland, and after a year she got fed up and said, yeah, either move to my place or we got a problem. And since wages are way better in Switzerland, I went there.
Not much of a
So and the relationship went sideways, but stayed for the money, the chocolate, the cheese, and I found a way better model now, and we are living happily ever after, I reckon. Prost.
Oh, damn, you painted a nice picture of Switzerland here. Now, how can you connect us with someone so we don't have to pay taxes on our money?
Well,
can you send us some information?
Can you set us up with a Swiss bank account now?
First of all, these things we do not discuss on the podcast.
We'll keep the laundering afterwards for tax reasons.
Yeah. Did they give you a Swiss bank account when you migrated? Does everybody get one? Does everybody get one?
Yeah, it's not from Venezuela, Dan. So yes, I do have a Swiss bank account, and no, I am not yet introduced into the dark arts of.
Of high stakes money laundering.
Yes,
you're working your way there.
I actually met a guy who went to school with Kim Jong-un in Switzerland.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
what was he like?
Believe it or not, absolute jerk. Almost like a genocidal authoritarian cunt.
I would not imagine that.
Yes. So weird.
What did you had something you brought on for the show tonight?
Yes. I brought you the background story, the tea, the absolute and ultimate truth about Johann Unterweger.
I think Andrew definitely
The
infamous accent Andrew puts on for Jack Unterweger all the time.
I love
it. So what you're saying is that's 100% accurate.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't say anything wrong, but the bigger picture is
Now, I'm just realizing now we missed a huge opportunity to just have you on as just we should have been like, this is Jack Unterweger here. This is him. This is him.
Nah, I don't want to be mistaken with that ugly mug.
Good choice.
So what's his deal? What do you want to talk to us about him?
Weird thing, Braden. I think I might need another 5 minutes because I cannot find my bloody notes.
Oh, all good. I got
something. So, I wanted to talk about. So everybody remembers the cake aliens, right? Yeah. So we have like
the Mexican cake aliens. Yeah.
Okay. So there's more Mexican cake aliens apparently. So there are new pictures that have come out recently of 3-fingered alien mummies, and they've been released by these documentarians that have taken on the task of probing whether these figures are fake or alien. Now, these are not the same. These are not the same ones.
Sorry, did you say cake or alien?
What? No, these are different aliens. Fake aliens.
Oh,
right?
fake or alien. I thought you said
fake or aliens, right? Yeah.
That should be the new game show, Cake or Alien.
So this is it's 2 filmmakers. Their names are Serena DC and Michael Mazzola, and they've got their hands on these 2 4-foot cadavers or petrified, mummified somethings. And they've got a 4-foot one, and apparently there's also a 9-foot specimen that has been discovered. And so these are not the ones. They made it clear in the article I was reading that these are not the same ones. That
they're trying to distance themselves as much as possible from the cake aliens.
Yeah, from the Jaime Maussan ones that he brought to the Mexican Congress. They're like, these are different ones. These are different ones, even though they look sort of similar. Very plaster-like kind of outside, whatever. And they're saying that they've taken these to scientists and universities. They've had them tested, and they're saying that these things, while they may not be extraterrestrial, they're saying they are a product of genetic manipulation and that they are ancient. So it's like they're trying to say, or at least they're implying, it seems, that these things are older than modern genetic manipulation techniques would be. So how would
but are they older than the practice of rounding up possum bones?
Than taxidermy?
Taxidermy and put those together. Is it older than that?
Well, I don't know. We'll have to wait until their press conference in West. They're going to have a press conference in West Hollywood on March 12th. So that's was that next week, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to present these things and they're going to serve these up. And I guess they have this is presaging a documentary full come out. I don't think the article was quite clear that they're going to put out, but these ones have not been publicly shown before, right? These are not the ones from the Mexican Congress. So these are something else. And so if everyone wants to pay attention to that, this week, something exciting to look forward to.
Yeah. Mark, by the time the pod version comes out, we might know more.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting.
The other thing I had that I wanted to update everyone, because I know everyone's been sitting at the edge of their seats. Everyone's probably been racking up credit card debt because we're all dead 2030, right? Because that's when Apophis was supposed to, it's an asteroid that it's supposed to hit, the ocean, Pacific Ocean outside Sacramento. There's like
Sweet.
a really viral like TikTok or reel with Neil deGrasse Tyson and DeGrasse Tyson, and he's talking about, he's like, this thing has a chance to hit us, and if it threads this keyhole right in this dead center, it's gonna smack Earth, and we know exactly where it's gonna be. And he says the coordinates, and he says it's gonna send the ocean 3 miles high, and it's like an earth ender.
Right.
So it's like, it was like, the odds were like 1 in several million, but scientists were really focused on like monitoring this, what they labeled the keyhole, to make sure if it didn't go through there. And 4 days ago, we found out, fucking missed the keyhole completely. It's gonna sail right by us. They're saying that the only real danger now is that if it like pinballs something and like it changes its course now completely again, like there's always a chance. They're like,
Right.
we want to keep you just worrying about imminent death just a little bit, because there's always a chance something crazy.
So they had to tell their team of oil drillers that they were going to send over to space to put them back on standby.
Yeah, they stood him down. They're like, all right, boys, come out of those tanks. We're good.
No space madness for you.
It's so much easier to train oil drillers to become astronauts than the other way around.
Yeah, we've discussed this in
That's
depth.
just science. That's
It's
just facts.
Listen, oil rigging's feel. There's a feel for it, right? You just like space, like
Whether it's on
astronauts?
Earth or in space, and
that's for
low gravity
nerds.
conditions, you can.
You can't
feel
teach
it.
that shit. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Except you're not looking
more
for
of an
oil.
art,
You're just running a fucking drill. They're like, why'd they have to have oil drillers? Like, isn't there, like, you could just ran a drill, any drill, really. But hey, listen, it's off the table. No one has to worry about it anymore.
No.
It is.
Yeah, now we have
Almost-
time to train astronauts to be oil drillers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the only guy we have on Earth for the role, he can't remember how to drill anymore. It's a little Bruce Willis dementia joke. It's what? Maybe that's all.
We can still send Ben Affleck up there.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes. Okay. So we're good for a while.
Steve Buscemi is still there. Oh, he's crazy. So yeah.
Okay. I told people I was going to start
Space
bringing
madness.
a cryptid. Dan, have we talked about the Beast of Busco before?
Yeah, he was on one of the cryptic crushathons.
Crushathons? Unbelievable, this thing. If you don't know what this is, it's basically like a legendary 500-pound snapping turtle.
Yeah.
That lives in Falk Lake. I don't even know where Falk Lake is.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know either.
I'm never gonna, or maybe I want to know because I never want to go there.
Yeah, exactly.
Churro Busco, Indiana. They actually have a turtle
Never going
days
to Indiana.
where they celebrate the Beast of Busco, and
Holy
it's
shit.
like it basically like alligator. Like the legend goes, like this 500-pound snapping turtle basically like wanders up onto land and snaps like deer off the side of like the lake.
We said he was like, or he's like Slash from fucking Ninja Turtles. Like,
Yeah.
this giant, or Toka, whatever. Giant snapping turtle walking around. I think we had him fight. It's like Gamera. It's like, I don't know if people remember Gamera from the kaiju days, but again, this giant snapping turtle that it's like snapping turtles already get pretty big. Like they can get gigantic down there in the southern states, Louisiana and maybe parts of Alabama. So even here, like in Virginia, like we have snapping turtles, and where I used to work at a park, like they used to like around springtime or whatever, they would start like coming out of the lakes and stuff, and they would get stuck on the roads because they're like find a place to lay their eggs or things. These things are massive. They're just like fucking dinosaurs, and you're just like,
they are fucking ancient. I mean, snapping turtles belong to one of the species that have been roaming the earth since God knows when. And haven't really changed that much. I mean, think of sharks, think of crocodiles, and other models that never go out of fashion. And don't crocodiles theoretically not stop growing?
Yeah, I think they're only limited. They don't stop growing, and then they're kind of limited to like at certain sizes. Just
They're like
becomes,
goldfish?
too big. Well, it's like lobsters. It's like lobsters
Maybe.
would like potentially they could grow huge, but it's just the limitations of their actual like physiology. That's
at some point,
you're just too big. You're just too big, and then you die.
they would collapse and whatnot.
There's still,
But yeah,
I mean, there's plenty of crocodiles and stuff that are fucking huge, and we just found those giant anacondas down in South America. Those like huge, large ones. They're like, yo, no, there's even bigger ones out there, and you're like, what the fuck?
and we still don't know shit. I mean, there could be a huge ass snapping turtle roaming around that's just like, I don't know, 120 years old and just or like 300, God knows what.
The description of this one, it was first seen in 1898. Is the first actual description of the beast of Busco.
It was already that big.
And a farmer named Oscar Falk, who they've actually nicknamed the beast of Busco after, so some people will refer to it now as Oscar, to humanize this giant man-eating monster and terror. Right? You're like, hey, let's make it fun. He said that this snapping turtle was the size of a compact car and his head was the size of an entire child.
An entire child.
An
That's
entire
vague.
child. Yeah,
That's
how big is
super
this
vague.
child? But that's a big head.
An entire child, not a 2/3 of a 12-year-old.
Like what are we talking? Like a toddler? We're talking about like an 8-9-year-old. Like,
And the next time it was like, so this guy like basically died, constantly being like, there's a fucking giant turtle in this lake. There's a giant like snapping turtle in there. It's humongous. It's as big as a car. And no one believed him. And then the next sighting was 50 laters with Aura Blue and Charlie Wilson saw this thing while fishing in Folk Lake. And basically they were like, hey, that old legend's true. And everyone like flooded the lake to try to see this thing. And like no one actually caught it. People, over the course of history have been like, I've seen it. I saw that thing come out of the mud and then go back down. Because like realistically, those things can probably just sit and chill. Like,
oh yeah,
right? They're like, right?
Yeah.
Especially
they sit there under the water, and it's like even when the lakes like freeze over, like they're technically like still down there just
They sit
hibernating. So yeah,
that's fucking ready
they're
to
just
snap.
monsters, man. Every
Yeah.
time they're terrifying. I mean, they're just these big, huge dinosaur-looking motherfuckers, and you could be like a 250-year-old. What does a 250-year-old snapping turtle look like? I don't know.
Yeah, there's like, I don't know, like it. That's the interesting thing to me is because we talk about like these rare, like especially like these reptiles and like turtles and stuff like that, where it's like they can kind of sit dormant and just like they need so less than other things to just survive forever. So it's like, maybe it did. Maybe it's gone now. Like maybe we've polluted the lake enough that we finally got rid of it. Thank God.
Or even if it died of natural causes and it's just down there on the bottom, like nobody would find it.
Like
it's
a
just
car,
down,
you would think it's a rock, a car-sized shell that big. You'd be like, yeah.
Or it's just like it's just buried under everything, mud and whatever down in that lake, where it's just, yeah. Or it's still alive and eating children.
What's that fucking practice? Is it called noodling?
Yeah,
where you
noodling.
fucking put your finger in the water.
See, fuck, yeah. People do that, and they're like, sometimes they're like snapping turtle. You'll get a snapping turtle. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's
You're gonna
crazy, man.
That's how you lose your fucking fingers.
What do you? No, there's no way. There's no way someone says sometimes you get a snapping turtle. I think the saying is sometimes you lose a finger. You're just like something bit me. Some bit off
I thought
my
it's
finger.
like they bite hard, but I don't know if it's enough to sever a finger. Like I know it's probably
Listen,
gonna be whatever. But it's still like
Oscar's gonna take your fucking arm off at the
oh
elbow.
yeah, Oscar will eat
Dan.
you whole. Like you're gonna take your whole fucking arm. Like that's gone. Yeah, see,
thing
and
is-
that another reason not to go. Not that I would go to noodling in the first place, but that's another That's another point on the very long list of reasons that I will never go noodling.
No, for real. I mean, I grew up at the River Rhine in West Germany. And the Rhine is basically this huge ass, historically relevant river that goes from Switzerland through Germany and ends up in the Netherlands and then in the Northern Sea. And we also have a lot of glades and whatnot. And as a kid, I learned that murky waters are of the devil. There's shit in there. Mm-hmm. I once saw a mallard just vanish because there was a huge ass catfish that, took a snack.
Oh, listen. I have no doubts in my mind that the only reason that catfish aren't a problem is because we're a little bit too big to try to eat.
Yeah.
If we were even a little bit, they were like, I think I can do it, you would be getting mobbed in there. Like, no problem.
Yep. If they could gulp us up, catfish don't give a fuck. And I actually had one trying to snack my foot one time. And I'm glad they don't really have teeth. They're just gulping shit.
I don't even want to touch one. It's like,
Well, listen to this.
Creepy looking fish.
I didn't realize this. So maybe the beast of Busco is like all bark, no bite, because I'm reading these.
I think it's got a lot of bite, brain.
Snapping turtles look so mean, but it says here that an adult snapping turtle does not generate enough bite force to bite the finger off of an adult human. The bite can be nasty, but it's more likely to cause serious vascular and neural damage.
Yeah, like it might. I don't think it would get all the way. It might get down to the bone. I don't know.
Yeah,
if it's
since
lucky,
they tend to clamp down and not release. I was like, oh, so they just look
what,
so
buddy?
mean?
I'm not gonna mythbuster that shit. No. I'm telling you.
No, me neither. I'm not into it. But
again, not noodling. Like I still just don't want a snappy turtle snapping onto my hand, and then I can't like get it to like.
Well, the alligator snapping turtle says, they can. Witnesses have said that the bite is so severe that it looks like a surgeon had just made an amputation. So I'm getting real.
Okay,
I'm getting real either ends of the spectrum of how.
Right.
But listen, a 500-pound snapping turtle, like its bite force would be unbelievable. So I think the chat's basically saying that they would definitely the beach can definitely puncture your skin. Yeah, people in the chat are agreeing. They can bite fingers off. I don't know. Well, I've never seen a video, so now I'm gonna have to be on the hunt.
Now I'm gonna have to go find a snapping turtle to.
Well, it's like what at 500 pounds? Like what would a 500-pound snapping turtle be eating?
What would it be eating?
Yeah,
everything.
Yeah, I guess so.
Small
cars,
children.
License plates, anything that wandered to deer.
Your cousin.
Whatever the strange old swamp lady is feeding it that takes care of it, like in Lake Placid or whatever.
Yeah, lizard caveman saying that he was in the Everglades just on Monday, so he was probably waist deep in there noodling with his pants down in there.
Go on noodling, lizard.
Yeah,
bloody legend.
All right, did you find your notes there, Jaeger?
No, I did not. I am in a German nightmare scenario right now because I have to fucking wing it. And
nice. That's what
we
we
hate
like.
doing that.
No, I like doing that better.
All right, okay, this is gonna be messy. Yeah, you want to hear the tale of Johann Jack Unterweger?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, I do. Especially now that I know you don't have notes. Even more so now.
Jaeger's version. I'll just make some of this stuff up. I have no idea who this person is, so I'm like, I always assumed that Andrew's character was like just a fictional person that he made up. And it's like,
So
is it based
did
on a
I.
real character? Is it based on a real character or person?
It's not based on a real character.
Just
That guy
is like a real
That guy
name?
is so real. It was surreal for me to bloody get information on it and research it. I have seen several German-speaking documentaries, and I saw him and heard him speak in interviews and in talk shows and whatnot, and it's bone-chilling. If you know what it's like to be around a sociopath or a psychopath, oh my God, that guy is a walking red flag. But we get to that. So Jack Unterweger, or Johann Unterweger, he called himself Jack later on, was born in Judenburg in Jewberg in Styria in Allied-occupied Austria in 1950. And yeah, that's a lot to unpack. We know of his mother, who was a waitress, and his father must have been, according to her, an American soldier, a GI, from the occupation zone. There's a lot of that. I mean, I come from the region of Mannheim, and there are American barracks there, and there is like, I don't know, every third family has some, occupation blood in their line now. So let's just roll with that.
If I also wasn't his mother a criminal or something? I kind of remember. That, or she was alleged to be a criminal or a lady of the night.
That's exactly that. There is no proof whatsoever.
Which I love. So it's basically just people talking shit about his mom. It's what it is.
Yes, exactly.
You know what your mom is?
No, he did it himself, because when he was incarcerated, he wrote an autobiography. It's called Fegefeuer, Purgatory in English, and it is a fictional piece, but it's basically autobiographical. That was my photography right now.
That's actually ingenious. So it's like you get in trouble and then you just write an autobiography and then you just shit on everyone you've ever wanted to shit on. You're like, yeah, it's fiction. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, sure. Fiction always works. Just remember OJ. If I would have done it, or what was it called? Or I would have done it.
How I would have, if I would have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he grew up with his mom, a waitress, and apparently Jack Becker was his father. That's why he called himself Jack. Okay, there we fucking go. That's when you have no notes. So all in all, he grew up basically with his granddad, who was not busy working a decent job, because that guy basically revived the ancient art of cattle theft in Austria back in the day. I mean, it's the 1950s, 60s maybe now.
I actually thought, for some reason in my head, I thought he was a lot older. Like, I didn't realize that he was more active closer to when we were born. Than
you need to connect the dots, Brady boy. I mean, where did Jack Unterweger take residence for a short time? Your most iconic episode, bloody
Cecil Hotel.
Elisa Lam.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, the Cecil Hotel. I just assumed in my head, I was just like, yeah, I bet he was around in 1800s. Like that. I never that's how my brain works. Someone says like an old guy, go like, oh yeah, 1890.
He might.
1990.
He was
and
a
I'm
Civil
like,
War veteran.
What do you mean? That's a long time ago now? Like,
he might as well have been, because the region he grew up in Austria basically looks the same now. If you look at the houses, the only thing that betrays our modern age are the bloody John Deere tractors that are roaming the countryside. But all in all, I don't want to diss our Austrian friends too much, but yeah, country's the country, you know. Those houses have been there before the Reformation. I don't know.
dropping all the money on John Deere.
I didn't know cattle theft was like a thing in Austria.
It was not. It hasn't been an issue for ages. And then fucking Granddad Unterweger came along and said, you know what I'm gonna do? Not work. That's not the thing.
He's like, if I just cut this gate here, I can just have all these cattle walk over here. It's like it's like the bee thefts now. Like, I didn't realize like bee thefts like today are huge. People will go and like buy people's. Dan, did you not know this? You're making a face like you didn't know this was a thing.
What are you talking about? Bees?
So bees. So I'm talking like I'm just
theft. Yeah.
Bee theft. So like it's a thing where they'll go with trucks and they'll like spray pheromones near people's like bee farms. So all the bees come to the trucks and then they just like pull down the doors and fucking drive away. Steal everyone. Got your bees. And this is what this guy did with cows and hay. He just was like, hey, I'm just gonna lead this cow over to my field. No big deal.
I mean, it's an ancient craft, cattle theft. Let's be honest.
It's next to prostitution. It's the second oldest profession.
There we go.
I don't know for sure. I forgot my notes too.
He definitely set a great precedent for his grandson there, and taught him all about stealing other people's cows and slaughtering them at home and selling the beef for.
So Andy's legit poaching. I thought he was like, oh, I'll bring this cow over to graze. No, he's like actually killing them.
No, you
after.
cannot because farmers know their cattle. You know,
you can be branded. You gotta butcher. I mean, that's how you launder cows. Just cut them into pieces.
That's how you launder the cattle. That's great.
Branding is not really a practice in the southern Germanic regions. This is more of an American thing, but you have a way to know your breed and your stock and whatnot. So. And everybody knows everybody. So you
that's what I figured. I was like, if you stole cattle from somebody, like everybody's gonna know who everybody is within that certain area. Like,
old Unterweger is selling a lot of beef lately. I wonder what's going on. I'm missing a cow.
But how well do they know their cows? And be like, taste it. That tastes like Bessie.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's Hilda. So see, we're just getting started and it's already weird as fuck.
I just love how the neighbor's like, yes, I have all their family portraits.
It's
Let me dig them out here for you.
They were left by his grandfather after he went to the old folks' home, and
which makes me think. So his grandfather leaves them, and then his neighbor just goes and ransacks his house, takes all the family pictures.
I mean, what you gotta do?
Well, I guess you suspect this guy's been stealing your cattle all these years. You're like, fuck this guy. I'm getting this. This is my time to shine now. Making some money back from the Unterwegans.
That guy doesn't give a fuck. He probably saw his first camera in his life. So that is basically the background. Yeah, and he, in his early life, Johann Unterweger, that is, his mother was jailed for fraud while pregnant. That we know, but he was not a prostitute. But Unterweger himself, well, he went in and out of prison throughout his youth, and also worked as a waiter between 1966 and 47. So there's no progress in your biography, bloody loser. And he was convicted 16 times, mostly for theft-related offenses, but also for pimping and sexual assault on a sex worker. And he spent most of these
Gators gotta slap a bitch, right?
Sometimes you gotta. I mean, and prostitution in Austria, especially at that time, that's also another topic that is not comparable to the situation in the US, because in most European nations, prostitution per se is not illegal. Oftentimes, women are protected by law, and because people they gonna be.
Are you saying pimping is easy?
Well, the cool thing is the pimping problem is not as big with you guys. I mean, they gonna be prostituting anyway, you know. So. Let's direct it.
Work is work. Sex work is work. So
the unsung heroes of society. Yes. But now it's getting juicy. First murder conviction, imprisonment, and release. Because this is how...
Well, he got convicted for murder and then he got released?
That's the thing, Dan. That's the weird thing about the Unterweger story. Okay. Because in 1974, he murdered an 18-year-old West German national called Margaret Schäfer by strangling her with her own bra.
Okay.
Yeah, for which he was convicted and sentenced to life in prison in 1976. And while incarcerated...
How does life work in I mean, is it like 25 a year, like kind of like Canada? Like you get life, you're like it's 25.
Yeah,
ish. Like life in the States is like your soul is going to be in prison.
400
and then they convict you 200 times life sentence. Yeah. Basically, I think life sentence in Germany nowadays would be about 25 years. I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. Because that would impact your life dramatically. So that's a life sentence. Yeah. But, well, he spent, how long did he spend here? About 8 years. And while incarcerated, he wrote short stories, poems, plays, and autobiographies. For example, Purgatory or The Trip to Prison, Return of a Guilty Man, Report of a Guilty Man. That basically was a way of him to showcase his journey to redemption and rehabilitation and whatnot. And the Austrian high society and artsy-fartsy cliques, the avant-garde, they ate it up. They fucking loved it.
Is this like a free hat story? Like, you get this guy out now? Is that what happens? Activism?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he wrote some books. We like this guy. Look, he's a model prisoner.
It's exactly what happened. I shit you not. They found a way. His lawyer was a bit of a crafty fucker, and they kind of used their influence, and he was a celebrity even before he got out of jail, because after that, he took off. After
literally, I think he went to the States.
yes. For example, he got out early and was the hit and the shit and what else? Amazing. Especially the art scene. They gobbled him up. He was on a trip from talk show to talk show. The rehabilitated, gentle soul of a poet that made a little whoopsie in his past by strangling an 18-year-old defenseless girl to death. Shit happens, I reckon. So, yeah, they loved it.
I didn't realize. I just pulled it up. I didn't realize that he was so popular that he was hosting TV shows. This is wild. He was hosting TV shows that discuss criminal rehabilitation, and he was the host.
Yeah. And he always presented himself in that white suit, always in companionship of a German Shepherd. And I don't know, appealing to the Austrian or German sense of purity, I reckon. I don't know. Okay. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is unbelievable. He went on to be a journalist and a public broadcaster, and he actually reported on numerous, this is unbelievable. He actually reported on the very murders which he committed. He was doing news reports oh my God, woman found dead stranded. They're like, how'd you know that? He's like, I'm a journalist. I'm not going to bury my leads.
Yes, Brain, you're absolutely correct. And thank you for wingmanning me here. You're a real bro. Exactly that happened. He was working for the official Austrian General Broadcasting Service. State media is really big in Europe. And therefore, he had the means and the reason to travel, and that's where shit gets a bit fucky, because for some reason he was really interested in the topic of prostitution. Well, as a son of a whore, I mean, as a person who had contacts to these milieus, you would, I reckon. I mean, he used to be a pimp and a whoremonger and whatnot, so. He's basically an expert. So he went to Czechoslovakia, as it was back in the day still. And the prostitutes got murderized, weirdly enough. And that's exactly the way you told it, Braden.
I didn't realize
it on reporting on it.
Yeah, 1990. That's when this happened. When he was most active was 90 to 95.
This is post Soviet fall of Soviet Union or Soviet bloc, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's
okay.
fresh after the fall of the
stuff's
Berlin
still in
Wall.
Turmoil, probably.
Definitely.
Still
You should go to
point.
some places still. I mean, come on. Yeah. 89, fall of the Berlin Wall. After that, immediately Soviet Union says, we're quitting.
We're done. Figure your own shit out. Figure your own shit out for now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so he murders all these people.
Yeah.
Gets absolutely caught.
They were still Czechoslovakia. When did they become the Czech Republic? That's just the question.
I don't know.
What are they called? What are they called now again?
Czech Republic.
Czech
Is it
Republic.
Czech Republic? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you know
I
how
forgot when
I
they
found
changed
that
the name
out.
from Czechoslovakia.
I didn't find that out through the news. I didn't find that out through any way other than watching World Junior Hockey. And then it was just like, oh yeah, just so everyone knows, Czechoslovakia
That's a great
is now
source
called
of information.
Czech
There's
Republic,
nothing
and I
wrong
was
with
like, huh,
There's some Prague in the
Interesting.
Czech Republic. I've been to Prague. It's a nice city. Lots of cool buildings.
Brilliant. Yeah, there's Slovakia now, and nobody talks about Slovakia because without
Why
the
would
Czech
you?
Republic, it's basically, it's kind of an appendix that's just wobbling about on its own. But yeah, Eastern Europe, we're gonna fix it. Don't you worry. So, yeah, he did not only go to Czechoslovakia, he also went to Miami.
So straight up international
Oh, yeah.
spree.
Mhm.
Mr.
And
Worldwide Murder.
I think he went to Florida before he went to the East Coast, but the West Coast, sorry. But there he was chilling with a girlfriend of his because that guy, that I forgot to mention, the charisma, the radiance of the dude. He was a womanizer. I mean, 80% of those fucking German documentaries I watched on him because I researched him in the most ATT fashion you could imagine, watching docus, of course. And it was 80% just chicks still swooning over him.
Of course.
Yeah.
well, it's
As we
it's-
do,
it's-
as our
It's
wonderful
also
obsession with serial
interesting
killers.
yeah.
because I guess when he went to the States, there was like people being like reporting him to the authorities, being like, I think the guy we have hosting the show who murdered someone before is actually still murdering people. And they're like, Jack?
Was?
They're like,
Exactly.
he's
Do you see his
reformed.
white suit? Do you
Yeah.
see how white his suit is?
You're just
Not
jealous he's doing a
possible.
TV show on
possible.
criminal reform. There's
Yes,
no
yes,
way.
I hear what you're saying, but the suit is so white.
Yeah.
I mean, look at it.
There would be blood on it.
Yes. Just think for yourself, sheeple.
So it's like he gets like, I think doesn't he go on the lam in the States? Like that's where they nabbed him. Like he goes on the lam, like he kind of figures out that he's like, oh shit, they're on to me.
I laughed my ass off. I was just doing the dishes while I watched my first, or rather listened to my first American documentary on Jack Unterweger. And it was all the FBI. They solved the case for the stupid Europeans who never faced serial killers before. Which is true, to be fair, because Austria never really, modern Austria never really had to deal with a serial killer.
That you
before.
know of, because they're so
That you know of. Yeah.
They're just so naive.
They're just
like,
so good.
There's no way. No one would do
way
this.
leagues ahead of us.
Of course. But modern serial killers as a phenomenon, that was kind of new. And so, of course, in the US documentary, it was the FBI that helped these stumbling buffoons of Europe to catch Jack Unterweger. It wasn't like that at all, actually. But yeah, you gotta learn some German to get the truth, yeah? So yeah, he went to Miami, and I mentioned he was a womanizer. His then girlfriend, I heard her speak, and it was so cringe. She's still into him, and she was stripping for money to help him in his research and journalistic endeavors. And by the way, he did not only report on prostitution for the Austrian broadcasting service, he also wrote, I think when he was still in jail for his first murder, he wrote bedtime stories for the kids program of the Austrian broadcast service, and I listened to some of those.
So his girlfriend wasn't this girlfriend that we're talking about. She wasn't a stripper before. She became a stripper after the fact. Like,
I don't know if he made her a naughty girl, but
yeah, like listen, babe, like I got this article coming up that I gotta publish, and I need some insight as a stripper. Can you please go become a stripper for me, please, so I can get some notes then? Like,
and then I will whore you out for research purposes. Yeah,
for science.
For science.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
and at some point he found his way to the West Coast too. Yeah.
Okay.
And they extradite him. They pick him up in Miami. And they're like they ship him back.
Yes, they
ship him back
found
to
him.
Europe.
Yeah,
it was a
they're like,
ruse.
and I think his trial went something like this. They're like, fool me once.
Wait, so he went to the West
Right.
Coast and then he came back to Florida, and then
Yeah, he was rumored to, because I remember he's rumored to have stayed at the Cecil Hotel.
He was there, and I have listened to the audio recordings he took from L.A. prostitutes.
And
So he was there.
I think the link of why people
Was he
were
murdering in the West Coast too? Is he
Well,
doing murder
that's-
there, too?
Well,
that's people don't know. That's the thing, is because he was so prolific during this time that they're like they never tied him to anything in the States, but they were like but they're
That's
like because they were like he has 12 confirmed victims,
Sure.
and then they're like maybe there's 15 that they
And those
couldn't
ones are
tie
in
him to.
Europe, or those are
Yeah.
all in Europe, or okay.
Yeah, and so the crimes, but that's the crazy thing, is like he was active from 90 to 92. In 2 years, that's where he killed most of the people that they know of. And he was in the States for a little while during his like most prolific time of murdering people. So they're like, could have a couple unsolved murders be attributed? He was in the area. And that's why I remember we talked about him on the Elisa Lam case, because he was staying at the Cecil Hotel. And so people were like,
yes, sir.
people were like,
Yes, sir.
was he active there? Was he maybe doing stuff? Because that hotel has a real shady history of, it's a hotel. I'm sure if you looked at all the logs of every like Best Western, I'm sure there's a couple pretty Best Westerns with not a good track record.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure a couple of hotels have guest books signed by
Definitely.
Yeah.
But pray tell, Mr. Dragon, sir, have you been preparing, or are you just now winging the co-research on that case? Be honest. You with
no,
the cool glasses.
I remember some, and then I couldn't remember. And earlier I said I think he was active from 90 to 94, and I was wrong. And I typed in when was Jack Unterweger active, and it said 90 to 92. He died in 94. That's what I got wrong.
Just mark me down as impressed. You're a pro podcaster.
No, I'm a pro bullshitter, my friend.
We've been doing this for long enough.
Those go hand in hand.
You got to know I'm an OG pro lifester, so this is a special night for me. That's why I'm so bloody angry that I lost my notes, but we're doing well.
It happens to me like every other week.
Just like par for the
Like I'll pull my notes up, and then I'll be like, I'll close one, and instead of closing a tab, I close the whole window, and I'll be like, nice.
But Braden, tell me, are you familiar with how they caught him in the US?
No, I don't know. I don't remember.
You fucker, because if you had been, I could have just swept into the kitchen and get me another beer because... All right, okay. They basically tricked him, all right? And they offered him money for some kind of... the Jack Unterweger connoisseurs are gonna tear me apart.
Andrew? Everyone else thought he was make-believe.
What's he gonna do? Step my shins? No. He was offered money for some kind of either interview or rights to a story, some journalist bullcrap. Yeah? Doesn't really matter. And he showed up, the criminal mastermind he was, and click, click. He was in handcuffs.
And this time, like, I remember they extradited him, and he was like instantly found guilty. Like, it was like they had no ifs, ands, or buts with this guy.
Yeah.
And didn't he just off himself? I can't remember if he did during the trial or right after he was sentenced.
Yeah, that comes later on. The cool thing is about him, he was absolutely into his psychopath modus operandi, one could say, by denying everything, being absolutely cocksure about it, and selling his point of view. I am innocent, and there's no way you can convict me, and you will all be ashamed of yourself and embarrassed when this blows over. And the longer you drag this out, the worse it's gonna be for you. And there's some great bloody quote of him that is so absolutely arrogant. I'm not an expert. I'm not a licensed psychologist or psychiatrist, but
you could have told me you were, and I would have believed you with that accent.
Thank you very much, sir.
I think that's half the credential.
But you listen to that fucker, and you speak a shred of German. You know that guy's a psycho. Really, I've listened to him speaking for way longer than I wanted to, because, dear listeners, this is the third time we try to set this up. You know, I've been waiting for this night for 3 fucking weeks.
Yeah. It's like 3:30 in the morning, 4 in the morning for him. And
and I'm getting shit-faced for you.
Nothing better than that.
So yeah, that guy is a psycho. That guy is a narcissist, a manipulator, and an absolute bullshitter, and a cold-hearted cunt. The main reason why I loathe the fact that I lost my notes today is I wrote down and translated exactly verbatim what the prison psychiatrist said about him before he got released the first time after the murder on that 18-year-old girl. He basically, out of the top of my dome, rocked the microphone. He said, he is a most dangerous individual, impulsive, prone to anger and violence, and definitely on the psychopathic, narcissistic side.
And they're like, let's give him a TV show.
Yes. Austrian high society and the people in charge went, that sounds all right to me.
That's our guy.
I have a colleague at work, Hans. Have you met the guy? I mean, he's crazy.
Have you met my friend Jack?
He's just like us.
he would strangle a chick with her own Büstenhalter in a minute. Come on. I mean, don't we? We're all a little bit crazy, aren't we? Come on, let's go.
Well, who hasn't done that? Or thought about it, right?
Yeah.
Actually,
he's a young lad. Let's go. Cut him some slack. Come on.
Yeah, we all make mistakes.
Yeah. If they knew that he was stealing cattle, they would have locked him up for life. He would have never seen the sunlight again. What? He's stealing cows? That's one thing you need to know about Swiss people and Austrians. They bloody, they are proud farmers.
So he probably would have not been released the first time early. They would have we're not
summarily executed.
Yeah.
Not at all.
They got his grandpa who's stolen 3 cows. They're like, listen, he's too dangerous to release.
This is the highest crime.
The highest crime on Austrian culture.
Yeah. May God have mercy on your soul, because we won't.
Must wipe out the entire bloodline. We cannot risk this filth, this infection.
By the way, guys, I'm doing the one thing that that Austrians and Swiss people hate about us Germans. Here sits a German talking about Switzerland and Austria. You know, they bloody hate it. Because, you could imagine how the relations are. I always put on my trademark German accent, which is not hard for me to do. Listen to me. But if I quote or mock all the participants in this biography, I should maybe do this.
I do a good. I used to do a good Arnold. I can't anymore.
I know. I heard it. It's brilliant. The Jack Unterweger,
Yeah.
he's a good guy. Come on, let's set him free. Let's go. Give him a chopper. On tax money.
Get to the chopper.
Yeah, but now I really gotta pee and get a beer. So, you guys, I give you some homework so we keep the flow going. You speculate on what's going to happen next, and Braden, you will not spoil this thing. Keep Dan
Well, hold on this.
guessing.
We'll be right back. We're going to take a quick beer break. We'll be back in.
Oh, yeah, that
Jaeger's
thing.
back.
Yeah, let's do the thing.
All right, we're back. Jaeger, enlighten us. How does this story end?
Most tragically, indeed. Our unsung, well, no, he was well sung hero. See, I completely forgot to start the story with the prologue. The story of Jack Unterweger is a story full of misunderstandings. I mean, everybody's got.
Well,
a
Andrew
kink.
made him so lovable.
I don't know, kind of shifty, charming. I mean, he nailed it, you know? Yeah. And he does have a certain, and that's the thing about city Austrians, like the Viennese. People in Vienna are cultured, well-spoken. They have a certain bohemian suave to them, you know? They're talking like these.
I love European stereotyping other Europeans. I love hearing stereotypes. It's great.
Bro, if you want to
For
learn
some
about
reason, it's amazing. I love it.
if you want to learn about racism, come to Europe. We are racist towards people from the next city. It's amazing.
That's why it's just like these weird feuds that they have there where it's like, you know, people are like 2 miles down the road, you're like, fuck those people. Fuck them.
Definitely,
They
definitely.
should be wiped off the fucking face of the planet. And you're like, why?
when I moved to Switzerland, damn, the
like
fucking
2 streets
racism.
over, like, oh.
Wow, the hatred towards Germans.
Well,
I mean,
it's a-
most people are welcoming and fair and whatnot, and I have a lot of friends, but sometimes, du Hure Sauschwab, it's wow. But yeah, the Viennese,
Someone
especially
in the chat saying locationist.
locationist.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
good.
it.
I like that.
Regionist.
Yeah, regionist.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's
provincist.
like sometimes it's like football clubist. It's like
Of course.
Yeah, right?
I mean,
yeah.
football and sports, team sports, they basically taps into our tribalist longings and reflexes. So, yeah. The Viennese, they have a certain hoity-toity kind of way of talking. They are basically the posh Southern Germanic kind of people.
Fascinating.
Really, yeah. And they love to drink beer, have a coffee. They meet in cafes. I mean, 80% of fucking Vienna is cafes. Yeah,
like
and art galleries and whatnot. Yeah.
I
good
feel
friend
like
of mine lived there for
I
2
feel
years.
like from your description, I could probably find smaller glasses there.
Yes, because this is a typical Bavarian thing. And since my province also has the Bavarian lion in its crest, and we have been occupied by those fuckers for about 100 years. See, that's Germans bashing Germans now. Europe is history.
It's all just feudalism.
Yeah.
It's
And
all-
the Swiss look at me funny when I drink out of a thing like this. It's amazing. So yeah, Jack was of course, he was convicted, and he was they proved his guilt by something rather revolutionary back in the day that has not been around for too long. A funny thing they call DNA testing. Hell yeah.
Got 'em.
And also, they found a fiber or several fibers on his person that belonged. They found fibers on a victim that belonged to a scarf he used to wear. Because if you're of Viennese, you wear scarves all the time, of course.
The interesting thing I pulled up when we did the beer break there is I didn't realize that like he was charismatic enough that he was only found guilty by a majority, which was interesting because like we don't have that system in Canada. So there was a 6-2 majority, which at the time I guess in Austria was sufficient for a conviction. But like that would be a hung jury in Canada, and like they would either call a retrial, but like it has to be unanimous. Like,
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you can't have like a majority like that. Which I was interested. So I was like, he was obviously charismatic and convincing enough that 2 people were like either enthralled by him or were like had some doubts enough that they couldn't.
I mean, yeah, that's the way he wiggled through his criminal mass murdering life. That's basically what he did. And let's not be blind to this. There are a fuck ton of people like that at the moment. And you need to have some kind of antenna for it. I think we do, but for the most part...
because we keep putting them on TV and stuff.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And you're
Psychopaths
like,
always end up in CEO positions, and especially the internet
Bill Cosby
basically amplifies them.
Everyone. I was like, he's America's dad.
There's a new Dahmer fucking documentary like every year, so it's
we kind of fetishize those sick assholes. So he was convicted and he was sentenced to life, like really for reals this time. That's basically what it reads, the verdict.
Like for really real life for really real this time.
Yeah,
exactly. Pinky swear. Yeah. And
he's like, but I'll be good. And they're like, oh, did you hear that? You hear what he just said?
Judge turns around like, what do we do?
What do we do? He said he's going to be good.
He says he's going to be good.
They're like, what? They're flipping through their books. They're like, this is precedent. I don't know. We're fucked here. I think we're. And then someone's like, no, he can go to jail.
Prosecution's like, Judge, seriously? Like,
yeah, he's like, okay.
I got it.
You got to go to jail.
Yeah. I don't know where my head was at. I'm sorry. Yes, yeah. You're going to jail.
But I promise.
I'll be better.
Promised. Yeah, but you see, he's saying he promised.
Yeah, and then that's how he got 2 of the jurors. They're like, are you listening? We got ears. He's saying he's promising he's not.
Those 2 jurors were also wearing white suits.
But what about rehabilitation?
Yeah,
guys, let's be cool. And that was by the way one of the main reasons why he got off the first time. The post World War II Western European humanistic deep belief in rehabilitation and whatnot, because psychopathy was not really well researched back in the day, I reckon. Well, it was, but nobody listened to the fucking psychiatrist from the prison.
Yeah, I said I wonder if that psychiatrist was like sitting there watching the trial the second time. Is like, I told you. I fucking told you. I fucking told you.
You should see the guy in the documentary. It's amazing. He sits there and he has this. He's got his arms crossed and shaking his head while saying, like, ist ein hochgefährliches Individuum, and goes down with all the stuff he diagnosed. And it's brilliant. He's so done.
I like his defense counsel. He probably stood up at the end. He's like, hasn't been going through this process bad enough. And they're like, he's not wrong.
Bloody gold.
Let him out. They probably release him like 3 every day. They were like, I think he's out. And they're like, no.
Amazing.
No,
we're gonna put him up for parole.
Yeah. No.
So yeah, the hammer
and then
falls.
He's like, if you put me in jail, I'm gonna kill myself. And they're like, well, shit. Now we're not gonna do that.
Are we going to be non-Nazi humanists now? Because let's remember, the Austrians, they really liked that Hitler guy. OMG. They were on board. Yeah, the so-called Anschluss. So, yeah, they also had their urge for redemption as a society as my people had. So, you want to be as nice as possible. Yeah, but no. Life in prison,
no parole.
What's the correct term for the little funny wooden hammer?
Gavel.
The gavel. Thank you so much. Yeah, the gavel falls, bam. And
he was looking at it, he's like, what do I do with it? Do I just Give it a couple of whaps. Is that good? Is it official?
I know, Your Honor. You smack it over a mouthy bitch's head, yes? Wrong answer. Bomb.
Jail.
Yeah, you go to the big house. And no 6 hours after the verdict, that coward hung himself. With the same knot.
Bra.
No.
That he had under his jacket.
He did what Epstein did not do. Dun, dun, dun. He killed himself. He used the cord of his sweatpants and he hung himself using the same bloody specific slip knot he used on all of his victims.
Oh, he's good at it.
Which
You do what you're good at.
basically...
That's his go-to. He only knew one knot.
Yeah, that basically sealed the
He's
deal.
like, I know this works.
Yeah, that's how I do it. I mean, this is a safe thing. And what are they gonna do after I kill myself? Convict me again because they're super sure? I think not. Yeah. So he delivered the last piece of evidence through his genocide, and thus ends the saga of Johann Jack Unterweger, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks for enlightening us that he is an actual real
He's
person.
a real person. Yeah.
Now, Jaeger, I had a couple questions for you.
All right.
What's the UFO scene like over in Switzerland? Like, do you guys get sightings? Like, have you? What's that kind of scene like over there?
Bro, I hate to tell you, it's so fucking boring. Really.
Too many mountains.
As you can imagine, as a really, really, really long time listener, I am into that shit. I have been since I was a kid, and let's be honest, it's partly being amazed by how people make shit up.
Yeah, no, there's a huge aspect of that.
Definitely. The bullshittery is just absolutely captivating. And on the other hand, always the rest of mystery. The what if and the it couldn't be otherwise. And the Swiss and the Germans, they seem to have no sense for that shit. I mean, of course there are your occasional goofballs, but there is no real UFO scene because the culture in the New World, as I love to call it, Northern America, States and Canada, is way different concerning this topic, as you can imagine. Because we have to deal with so much weird shit going back into our cultures and history that we do not have the longing for the new sci-fi-ish, what lies in the future kind of stuff. No, we have so much shit we've got a whole cellar of bullshit to tidy up, you know.
A lot of skeletons in those closets.
Yeah, exactly. So
that are weighing heavy on the mind.
Yeah, the whole mindset, the whole gestalt of the Swiss is not really prone to UFO conspiracies and stuff. And we don't have these huge free letters agencies that make it so palatable and believable all the times. And you can imagine, it's not the landscape for that.
Yeah, well, if you go against the Swiss government, then they won't let you into their giant bunkers that they have down there set for men. They can house their entire population.
Yeah. I'm not a Swiss citizen. I have been here for 6 years, working my ass off, paying taxes, and I pay more taxes than actual people with. Of course, you say, yeah, but Germans find it a bit unpalatable. To me, immigration is a privilege and not a right, but that's politics. Let's not go to that part. I am privileged to be in Switzerland and work there and pay more taxes than a Swiss citizen. I will maybe not have access to the bunkers because I am a Class B person. It says on my card. So yeah,
you get to stay in the shed in the nuclear fallout. Like you get to stay in the shed outside.
Bunker. You scan at the bunker and it just red lights.
Yeah, you show them your passport. They're like, no, over there. It's like that's just like that shed looks like it's made out of just sheet metal and chicken wire. Like yeah, that's that one.
I might might be talking out of my ass. I don't know what the plans are, but I have a so-called Ausländerausweis, a foreigner's identification document. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're out. You're not getting in the bunker. But you're
so.
good. We won't need it anytime soon, hopefully, because Apophis is missing. So,
Yay!
Yeah. We can all rest on that. The other thing is any since you've been there, any like interesting like folklore or like cryptids in the area that you've heard about or you've
Fuck done. Are you kidding me? He answered without having an example in his mind.
a single? Yeah, they're all over. Everywhere you look.
It's everywhere.
Because
What specifically?
Because I always, I mean, we do in the West definitely romanticize these kind of things and these topics and ideas and stuff.
Yeah.
So I always wonder, I'm always curious as these ones that like, you know, we don't get an English translation because it never makes it over to us because it's like, it's a local thing or a regional thing. And they're like, you know, like there is no English word for it.
I mean, I'm glad that the Großmann made it to the English-speaking realms. The Großmann is fucking terrifying.
What's that one again?
Der Großmann.
Yeah, we talking about him.
You called it the gross man.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh, the gross man. Okay, I know.
Gross man.
Oh,
yeah.
You were just botching the English accent there. When you
Oh, I'm sorry.
I had no idea what you're talking about.
It's not the gross man, the repulsive male person. It is the big man, the tall man, der große Mann, der Großmann, and that one's definitely fucked. There's a shit ton of cryptids, especially in Southern Germanic cultures. And I use the plural deliberately to honor the Swiss and the Austrians because, ooh yeah, baby. If you want to see some weird shit, you go there. But also in my home country of Germany, as the borders are right now, let's wait another 50 years or so and reevaluate. Oh no, I told them about the plans. No,
definitely not getting in the bunker.
The Swabians are a really interesting tribe of Germans. They live in the southwest, and they are also situated in the so-called Schwarzwald, the Black Forest region.
Okay, say that word again for Black Forest.
Schwarzwald.
Schwarzwald.
Got it. Nailed it. One try. That was perfect.
Wow.
That's my favorite cake.
Yeah, Schwarzwälder Torte. Yeah.
Everybody knows the darkest forests are in Germany.
Yes, of course.
Nobody has darker, blacker forests.
Yes, of course they are. And by the way, I'm a German teacher by profession. So, well done, Braden. Here is your star sticker right on your forehead. Amazing. So, the one thing I really find intriguing, that's the one thing I can give you guys, since you're asking. We know about the Swedes and the Norwegians, that they have a deep cultural affiliation with trolls.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not talking internet, I'm talking under the bridge and in the forest trolls. Mm-hmm. The real deal. We are used to Norse legends of trolls and whatnot, but what many people forget is that the Scandinavians are Northern Germanics, basically. So if I hear a Norwegian person speak, especially when they're from the city of Bergen, I bloody understand them. No issue. And in the Schwarzwald, in southern Germany, so way down, and there's a lot of culture and history happening in between, there's trolls. But nowhere else, you know? That I find really interesting. So, yeah. Trolls in the Schwarzwald, definitely a thing.
Trolls. Where else would you find trolls with the Black Forest?
Black Forest trolls, bro. I tell you. And if you have ever wandered through the forests in Sweden or Norway, for example,
we have,
especially at night, guys, I believe in trolls. That was not a bear. That was not a fucking elk. There's a soundscape you would not believe if you're lucky. I'm your average stereotypical German. I believe in science, what I see, what I can measure, what makes logical sense. But I also have an intuition and a soul I like to make use of, an instinct. But bloody hell, there's trolls. Fuck you.
I believe it.
Believe it.
Thank you.
I'm not. You heard it
I
here.
can't prove
Trolls.
it, but damn.
Trolls in the Skarsgård, whatever it's called.
Yeah, the Skarsgård. You made it Norse again. You immediately went and made it Norse.
Jaeger, you said you had some podcasts. Why don't you plug those here before we wrap this one up for tonight?
Oh my God, you're too kind. Thank you so much. If you speak and or understand German, you would love to hear about these podcasts. You also have to be a fucking nerd because they are about Warhammer 40k and Star Wars. It's two different podcasts, no fear. The first one is called Adeptus Inebris. That's the Warhammer 40k podcast, Adeptus Inebris. And the Star Wars podcast you might want to listen to is Datacrons, der entspannte Lore-Podcast.
Can you
Thank
say that?
you so
say
much
it
indeed.
one more time?
Datacrons, der
I love
entspannte Lore-Podcast.
I love it. So, and anyone can find those wherever they find podcasts?
Hell yeah. Everywhere you find podcasts.
Any social medias or anything where they can go and follow you?
We got Insta and that shit, but I'm too old for that crap. I'm reaching 40 soon, so screw social media.
My bones just ache when I do the TikTok dances now. It's too hard. I don't have
you got to stay with the kids, man.
Yeah, I don't have my sciatic flares up all the time now, so I don't have the moves.
Every time I turn
like
the selfie
to.
camera on, you're just
it's my sciatic. So, yeah, and if you're listening to the show, you like the show, hit us up on Patreon, patreon.com/Alien Theorists podcast. We got tons more stuff coming out. You get Cosmic Channels early. You get Daddies and Baddies. You get Confidentials. You get Skin Talkers on Skinwalkers. And everything in between. And as we always say at the end of these things, keep those eyes on the skies.